Hey, it's Adrian from the Pageant Project. Just before I get you to our interview, I just wanted to point out that this was recorded on a live Facebook video. Now, the plus side of that is you get to ask questions and get answers from your favourite pageant queens. Unfortunately, the downside, being in Australia with our slightly dodgy internet, is that you may hear some audio crackling in the background, and I've actually contacted the people that do our software. There's nothing they can do about it. It's just because Australia is so far from everywhere, so I apologise for that slight loss in audio quality. But if you can put up with that, I do think the flip side is well worth it. So without further ado, let's get you to our interview. Hey everyone, it's Adrian from the Pageant Project, and I'm here with Sapir Isabella, who's Miss Asia Pacific International Australia 2018. Sapir, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's
really nice to finally meet you as well.
It's nice to meet you too. Can we start with where you're at? Because this looks very glamorous.
So one of my best friends just came down from Sydney and surprised me. She's actually Miss World Fiji. Can we bring her out for a second? Just to say
Absolutely.
Hi.
Yeah, is she the one that gave you the laptop?
Yes. I was having, none of our viewers saw this, but we were having some technical difficulties. So put it to the rescue, of course. Hi, Adrian.
Hi, what's your name?
Pooja Priyanka.
Welcome to the show. And thank you for the laptop.
Of course, no worries. Thank you. So yeah, Pooja's just here supporting me. I literally have 5 days until I head off to the Philippines. So we're both just having a girls' weekend, and she's helping me with everything. So thank you, Pooja.
And Sapir, so you said you're heading off in 5 days. So how does that feel?
Really exciting. Also really nerve-wracking. I'm really excited to meet all the girls over there. I've never been to the Philippines, and I hear it's beautiful. So I'm just excited to take it all in and just have this incredible experience. And
is this your first time competing internationally?
It is, yeah. I've done a few national competitions. I think every single time you do a pageant, you grow a little bit more and you learn a little bit more about yourself. But on an international stage, I hear it's incredibly busy and incredibly full on. So I'm really nervous, but I'm also incredibly excited.
And how many other girls are you going to be competing against?
I don't know the exact number. I think it's 45. Every year they add another country. I think this year it's 45, but don't quote me on that. But it's literally girls from all over the world. Yeah, and it's just amazing. Like, what other opportunity can you have to really meet a different girl from a different country? So, yeah.
Sapir, can you just turn the volume down a little bit? I'm hearing my voice just a bit.
I can. Technical help over here?
Technical help. Can you turn the volume down? That's much better. Yep. Okay. Thank you, technical help. Sapir, what does your pageant preparation look like? I know you're only 5 days out, but I'm sure that your pageant preparation has been going for a while. So when did you start pageant prep? And for you, what does pageant prep look like?
Yep, so I was crowned Miss Asia Pacific International Australia. I think it was in June. So it's been a few months now. I think preparing for a pageant is in a lot of aspects, just like preparing for life. You have like short-term preparation and you have long-term preparation. I think short-term preparation is things that maybe the audience normally sees, which is like talent, evening gown, your walk on stage, question and answer, but then your long-term preparation is really about your goals after you win the crown. So mentally, I'm kind of preparing for if I already win. What do I want to do with my year? What do I want to do? What does that year look like? What do I want to do for the organization? What are my personal goals? So things like that. Absolutely.
And Sapir, as I said, I'll just bring you up to date with what's happening on the live. So again, you have Inon Gadasi, and I'm sorry if I butcher the name, that is saying that you are amazing. And I will say to all of you watching, if you have any questions for Sapir, put them below and we'll comment below, and I will make sure that Sapir gets to them. And we will finish off with a bit of a Q&A. So we're going to go into a bit of Sapir's backstory here. So we may not answer your questions straight away, but definitely put them below. Sapir, tell us, you were telling me before we went before we went live about your name, and apparently Isabella, you said, is just a made-up name. So you have to tell us a story as to how you came up with the made-up name.
So I have a really good friend. She's actually living in LA at the moment. Her name is Elise Natalie, and we did a pageant together a couple of years ago. And on our way back from I think it was state finals, we were just driving back. We had like 2 hours to get back into Melbourne. She's originally from Perth as well. And we were both thinking, like, I said to her, so my real last name is Turkanits, and you might see that in the Philippines. I gave them my real last name. But I kept saying to her, Sapir Turkanits, it just doesn't sound right. Like, it just doesn't roll off the tongue. I already have a very difficult name, Sapir. A lot of people kind of say, what is that? Like Sapira, Sophia, Sapphire, what? Like, so I really wanted to create a name that was a bit shorter, I guess. And she actually came up with Sapir Isabella. And it sounds, I don't know, I really liked it. So I kind of put it up everywhere. And then a lot of people now don't know my real last name.
It sounds sort of Spanish, the way it kind of rolls off the tongue. Where does your actual name come from, though, Sapir? It's a very interesting name.
It's actually an Israeli name. So it means sapphire in Hebrew. And I have a twin sister whose name is Topaz. So we're both gemstones. That's a lot of people don't know that, but that is what my name is. Yeah.
And you need to walk me through your Instagram bio, which has 1 quarter something, 1 quarter something, 1 quarter something, 1 quarter something. What are the 4 quarters?
Okay, so I am a quarter Polish, a quarter Russian, a quarter Italian, and a quarter Egyptian. I was born in Israel, but I'm proudly Australian. So I grew up in Australia all my life. And I was actually, when I was younger, I was really embarrassed about being very multicultural. Not a lot of people knew that I had a very mixed background. Not a lot of people knew that I spoke different languages. And it was actually through doing a few pageants and learning more about myself and having a few different life experiences that made me realize that what I thought were weaknesses were actually strengths. So now I'm actually really proud. Like, now I put it on my bio. I tell people all the time, like, this is who I am. If you like it, great. If you don't, then get to know me a bit better, and then maybe you'll like it. Yeah.
Did that journey mainly come through pageantry, or was that sort of your life experience as well, or was it a mixture of both?
It was definitely a mixture of both, but I think it started off in pageants. The first pageant I ever did was actually Miss World. And I didn't know what to expect, but once I got there, I met all these different kinds of girls with all these different really, really interesting stories. And I love hearing about other people's stories. Like, all my friends will tell me, as soon as I meet someone, I'll want to be their friend. I'll want to know everything that's happened in their life to get them to this point. I can truly say I love people, and I love hearing about their backgrounds. So I think just listening to other people's stories and other people's experiences was definitely the beginning to making me accept more of who I was. That, and also a few situations, a few other situations in life that kind of made me really appreciate life and really realize that life is short and you shouldn't care about what other people think. You should just be proud of who you are. Yeah.
And Sapir, on that note, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do in day-to-day life apart from the pageantry?
Sure. So I graduated from a Bachelor of Architectural Design. And soon after I finished, I started working as a digital designer. I was super lucky enough to work internationally online as a digital designer, and I still do that to this day. So I lived overseas for a year just working online, and made me realize that I can actually do this. Now I work independently as well as preparing for the pageant. I'm just doing anything from helping people with their social media to building websites and fixing people's apps. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you are a tech genius.
Contrary to what you saw before with my laptop, I'm pretty savvy technically, yeah.
Right.
On the
Okay.
digital design front, definitely, yeah.
And you mentioned that your first pageant was Miss World. What other pageant? What's the rest of your pageant experience? How many pageants have you competed in?
Yeah, so my first one was in 2014. That was Miss World, and then my second one was a pageant called Face of Beauty. So that was held in Sydney. I got first runner-up for that, Miss Photographic and Miss Congeniality, which I was really proud of. And I think the reasons you get into pageants, I don't know, maybe the other girls can tell you, you continuing doing pageants definitely change. I guess your motivations to do it definitely change. Yeah, do you want me to get into that a little bit, or?
I think so, because I think from everyone that I've spoken to, when they first go into pageants, it's almost like, and they only realize this after the fact, the first time they go into pageants, they often tell me they weren't ready to win. They thought it was going to be a certain way, and it just wasn't. And they're disappointed that they didn't win, but in hindsight, they realize, hey, I wasn't ready. So many of the people that I know have competed in pageants 5, 10 plus times before they won their title, fingers crossed if they did win the title. So how have your motivations changed, and how have you changed, I think, importantly, over your pageant journey?
Yeah, first of all, I can definitely relate to that. I think the first time you do a pageant, you don't really know what you're getting into, but I think most of the girls are pleasantly surprised with the experience that they have. I haven't gone into the pageant world for the last 2-3 years. I think I needed those 2-3 years to really understand who I was and understand what I wanted and truly be ready for an international experience. The first time I did pageants was really, my motivation, I guess, was that same year, I think I was in first year or second year of uni, and that same year my mum moved overseas, and I love my mum, like I have a very strong connection with her. And ever since I was little, I think since I could remember 4 or 5 years old, she would always call me her like little beauty queen. And one day you're going to do beauty pageants and you're going to be a beauty queen. And obviously she said that just as a way to show me love, but I really carried that on. And I really after she left, I felt like I wanted to do something for her. So that was my motivation the first time. But then once I did the pageants and met all the girls and realized how much I could learn, not just about myself, but about other people, and really grow as a person and become better today than I was yesterday, that really got me, I guess you could say, addicted to it a little bit. And it really is, that saying, practice makes perfect, is really true with pageants. Because the second time I did it, to get first runner-up nationally and 2 other awards was huge for me. And now representing Australia is honestly a childhood dream. So I can definitely say not only your motivations improve, but also who you are as a person grows and becomes better.
Absolutely. Sapir Kali Stojka, again, I'm going to apologize if I mispronounce the name, has said, you're a multi-talented Wonder Woman.
Thanks, Carly. Love you. She's a good friend of mine from school.
All the supporters are coming out. Sapir, if you were to take this out, so in 5 days you're heading overseas, if you were to take this thing out, what would you like to use your year for, your reign for, and how would you like to be remembered?
Good question. I think there's 3 main things, and they all come from my own personal experiences. The first one is to empower. The second one is to promote, and the third one is to educate. So I'll elaborate on that a little bit. I'd really like to empower not just the youth, but young women around me, because I know what it's like to not be so confident in yourself and not have certain things that you think are your weaknesses. So I'd really like to tell every single girl, even if I don't win, tell every single girl over there internationally that who they are is exactly who they need to be, and to love themselves and to realize not only their worth, but also their potential. The second one is to promote the Miss Asia Pacific International message, which is beauty and diversity, one that I obviously incredibly resonate with. And the third one is to educate. So I have a personal goal to educate society on the importance of education. So there was this one book I read when I was 17, I think, that literally changed my life. And it taught me the importance of educating, especially a woman. It can not only change herself, but also her family, her community, and the future generation, because she's obviously going to have her own family.
Sure.
So those are the three main things, I think.
What was the name of the book, Sapir?
It was called Half the Sky. I think every man and woman should read that book. It really changed my whole perspective of things. Definitely recommend it.
Okay, that sounds good. Sapir, just to go back to what you do for your day job, I know that these days a lot of people, men and women, are obsessed with building their social media. And you mentioned that you help people with social media. So just to put you on the spot a little bit, if someone wants to grow their social media, particularly Instagram, what should they do? What are the main steps, or maybe what are the main mistakes that you see people making? And I'm going to be all ears for this because we're trying to grow our Instagram account at the moment.
Okay. I think that's a really good question. I think, first of all, it 100% depends on your own audience. I think listening to your audience and seeing your insights is incredibly important. So if most of your audience is from a certain country and you post during the day your time, but it's nighttime, you have less chance of them seeing it. So I guess listening to what times they're awake, things like that. I think also content, like being consistent, is important. I think that's one of the biggest rules in social media, actually. I don't know, everyone has their own page and everyone obviously has different interests. So listening, like being true to yourself and listening to what you embody and what is consistent to you, other people will follow.
Can you tell me about hashtags?
Ooh, I've been hashtagging a lot lately.
So what is your personal stance on hashtags? So Instagram allows 30. Do you use all 30? Do you use the same ones? Do you change it up? How do you approach this hashtagging mess?
I think hashtags is a really good way to reach people. I think a lot of people use the search button on Instagram sometimes like the same as they might use Google if they want to search something visually. I don't think there's anything wrong with using up all 30 if that's what you're asking. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I always like put a separate comment for all my hashtags, because I find that when I look at other people's like captions and then I see all these hashtags, I feel the need to like read all those hashtags, but it's really draining. Like I don't want to. Does that make sense? Yep. So I try to always put it in a different comment. And also not, be relevant to your photo. If you have a photo of like, I'm just going to put it in a pageant setting, say it's a photo shoot and it's a behind the scenes, whatever. I'm not going to post like hashtag breakfast, hashtag, things like that. So things that are relevant helps.
I think that's a good start. I'll have to chat to you about social media because it's fascinating to me.
No worries.
Sapir, before we go to the final 10 questions, and again, for those who are watching live, if you have any questions for Sapir, make sure that you put them below. You have a My Drawer, as in MAIDROR, who has written beautiful and then given you the emojis. I have to explain this to Sapir because it's supposed to be coming up in our stream chat, but it doesn't. This software is still in beta. But before we go to the final 10 questions, for people who want to follow your journey, I know that you're heading overseas in only 5 days, but what are the best socials to grab you on?
So you can find me on Instagram, my name XO, so Sapir XO. I've also got a Facebook page, so it's just Miss Asia Pacific International Australia 2018, I think it is. I think those are the two main ones. Okay. And just one last point on social media, I literally have like a lot of information, so if you want help with that, I'm more than happy to help.
Well, once we finish this interview, I'm going to talk to you more about it because I need help. And Sapir, just before we go to the final 10 questions, do you have any expectations of yourself as to a placing? I know that some I seem to find people go into two camps. One is a camp that just wants to do their best and enjoy the experience, and the other camp is they do have a placing in mind. Whether they'll tell you that or not is different, but they won't be happy unless they're top 10, top 5, or take the whole thing out. So where do you sit in that spectrum?
Okay. I really resonate with the saying, don't reach for the stars, reach for the moon. Because even if you reach for the moon, you might hit a star. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I am 100% training for the crown and training for a year that I will be Crown Miss Asia Pacific International. Having said that, if I also get top 5, and even if I just meet 45 girls, that in itself is incredible. So I'm really just excited for the experience. But obviously, I'm very ambitious, and I do have a goal, and I do try and reach it.
Yeah, I like the fact that you can say that. Is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to? Any sponsors or any supportive people who've been important in your journey?
My technical support over here, Pooja, of course, but also my national director. She's been absolutely incredible. She's been organising all of my catwalk training, my gown, my national costume. My parents, who have been so incredibly supportive, and I have to say that just by telling them that I'm representing Australia has given me the biggest fulfillment. Just to see their reaction to me representing Australia has been amazing. All my family and my twin sister, who's been, she's just always been there for me, and it doesn't matter how many times I fail, she's always there to pick me back up and tell me, it's okay, you can just try again. You'll never fail if you just keep trying. And of course, Inon Gadassi, he's always been there for me. Yeah, all my friends, of course, they're amazing.
Sounds good. Okay. Final 10 questions, Sapir. Here we go. This is the most pageant-esque part. So, and you're on live. So here we go. Question 1. What is your favorite word?
Ooh, probably love or family.
Question 2. What is your least favorite word?
Hate. I think it's a very strong word that never needs to be used.
Okay. What about in life? What turns you on or what gets you excited?
I think passion. Just seeing people passionate about whatever they want to fulfill is really, I love it. I love hearing about other people's stories and what they're passionate about.
Definitely. What about what turns you off?
Ooh, what turns me off? People putting other people down. I think it's never necessary. I think it's only hurting themselves.
What about what sound or noise do you love?
Ooh, I love the ocean. I love the sound of the ocean, especially in the morning when no one is there.
Yeah. What about what sound or noise do you hate? Not allowed to ask for help.
My friend is making a chewing sound. So I'm guessing what she doesn't like is a very loud chewing sound. I don't like screaming when people are screaming too much.
Okay.
These are great questions, by the way.
They're not mine, but I've got to say that the answer of chewing has been a really, really common one, and I completely resonate with that.
Oh, there you go, Coach.
Nothing annoys me more than you go into a restaurant and you're sat next to a person like I was today, and he's just making the loudest chewing noises right in your ear.
You've made her laugh. So
way too personal for me. Okay, question 7. If you could have any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
Oh my God, I would love to fly. I've had so many flying dreams. I love seeing the world from above. It makes me feel so much smaller, but in a good way. Yeah.
Have you ever skydived?
No, but it's on my list. I have to do that. I have to skydive.
Sounds good. Well, you've said it on live video now, so now you have to do it. What about
my friends can hold me to it. It's okay.
What job or occupation other than your own would you most like to attempt?
Probably astronaut. I'd love to go into space. That'd be amazing.
That's a first, and actually, now that I think about it, that's actually kind of surprising that no one's ever answered that. I thought that used to be a really popular answer, but I think you're the first person to tell me astronaut.
Like, no one knows this, so I don't know if I should say this live, but I'm like a bit of a space nerd. So yeah, anything to do with space or like seeing the Earth from above, amazing.
Why is Pluto not a planet anymore?
Oh, we should have. You know what? I think he can still view himself as a planet. It's fine.
What
Need to be inclusive.
What sort of space? When
But
you say
did you want me to ask that question? Actually, sorry. Did you want me to
go
actually?
for it. I want to see how far this space nerd thing goes.
Okay, so Pluto was technically a dwarf planet, so it was too small to be a planet, so they took him off the list. But in my head, we still have 9 planets.
Okay, and
I think that's the right answer.
you could tell me anything you want. I wouldn't know. Which 2 planets swap orbits for part of the journey around the sun? There are 2 planets that aren't fixed in their position.
Oh, you're really testing me with this. I'm looking at Pageant, but she wouldn't know either.
No, I remember this back from school.
Let me guess. Sorry?
I was fascinated by the planets in school because the number of satellites or moons that Jupiter and Saturn had was always going up.
I was going to say Saturn, but I didn't want to get it wrong live.
I think it might actually be Neptune and Pluto. I think for part of the orbit around the sun, I think Neptune might be further away from the sun than Pluto.
Okay. I think that's what we're going to do the rest of the night, which we're just going to have a look at the history of planets.
This has gone way off topic. Okay.
That, there's a great TV show of the astronauts in the 60s and their whole journey, them and their families. I forgot what it's called, but I know it exists. So if I find the name out, I'll let you know after this.
Sounds good. Okay. To bring us back on track. Question 9. Okay. Question 9. If you, what job or occupation other than your own would you definitely not like to attempt?
Ooh. I hate blood, so probably a doctor. Yeah, probably that. I don't like seeing people in pain or blood or anything like that.
Fair enough. Okay. Final question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Ooh. You made it. Probably everything you've done was everything that you needed to do, and you've impacted X amount of people, and you've touched this many lives, and you made it. You can enjoy it. Probably that.
Sounds good to me. Well, Sapir, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Adrian. Thank you so much for having me. This was really fun.
I'm glad. And best of luck. So when are you flying out? You said 5 days. So it's a Wednesday or a Thursday, is it? Yeah.
So it's technically a Thursday, but it's after midnight Wednesday. So So it's
okay.
In between.
And how long does the pageant go for?
The pageant goes for 3 weeks, and if you get top 5, you have to stay another 2 weeks. So between 3 to 5 weeks. It's one of the longer pageants. It's also one of the oldest pageants. So they really want to know who they're going to work with.
3 weeks?
Yeah, it's not one of those 5-day week ones. No.
No, so 3, and I'm assuming it's pretty full on for the 3 weeks.
Yeah, so I actually spoke to the 2 girls, Louisa last year and Maddie the year before. And they said you really don't have much time to sleep. You go to bed at 1, wake up at 5. Every day is organized for you. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of hard work, but I think most of the time I'll probably be running on adrenaline, so it'll be okay.
This doesn't sound like a beauty pageant. This sounds like some sort of elite training camp.
It sounds like the army. No.
I was going to say, it sounds like SEAL training camp.
Yeah, it does, hey. Except beauty queens are attending.
Well, whoever wins then obviously is going to very much deserve it if they have 3 to 5 weeks to sort you out. So, Sapir, thank you again for your time. I'll keep you on the line just for a little bit, but I want to thank everyone for watching, and we'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, it's Adrian again. Thanks so much for watching or listening to our interview. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe if you'd like to hear more interviews in the future. And also don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Pageant Project. Speak to you soon.